The four Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Omitofo. The Four Primal Teachings on Contemplation Sutra 1, edited version. The Four Primal Teaching on the Contemplation Sutra, Chapter 1, an exposition on the profound meanings of the Contemplation Sutra. Firstly, the multitude is exhorted to bring forth the vows to take refuge in the Triple Gem. May the assembly of the way cultivators and laypeople bring forth the unsurpassed mind. The cycle of birth and death is not easy to renounce. The love for the Buddha Dharma is difficult to develop. Let us bring forth the Vajra resolution together to cross over and sever the four flows. May we enter the realm of Amitabha and take refuge in him. May we put our palms together to make obeisance to him. World-honored one, I single-mindedly take refuge in the unending Dharma nature, the seas of genuine thus, the reward and transformation Buddhas in the 10 directions. Every one of the bodhisattvas is replete with immeasurable retinues. Their adornments and transformations resemble the sea-like bodhisattvas of the 10 grounds and bodhisattva at the 3 worthy position. Whether the time of kalpas is full or not full, the wisdom and conduct are perfect or imperfect, the main afflictions are put to extinction or still exist, the habitual habits are all cleared or still remained, with merits and functions or without, with the certification of wisdom or without, the stage of wonderful enlightenment or the stage of equal enlightenment, all will receive the proper Vajra mind. With the response of one mindfulness, one will be replete with the virtues, the fruition of nirvana. Together we will take refuge in the Sambodhi, the honored one, the Buddha. May the Buddha bestow upon us and gather us in with his unobstructed spiritual strength. Together we take refuge in the worthies and sages of the 3 vehicles. We wish to learn from the Buddha at the mind of great compassion. We will not retreat in our cultivation in the long run of the future time. May the Buddha bestow upon us the ability to see all the Buddha in every mindfulness. With our diluted form, we have been transmigrating continually for many kalpas. Today we've encountered the remains of Sakyamuni Buddha's teaching in this Dharma ending age. We learn the original vows of Amitabha Buddha, the prime door to enter the world of ultimate bliss. With the transference of merits and concentration that makes practices in others, we will swiftly certify to the body of no birth. By relying on the treasury of Bodhisattva, the seas of one vehicle, sudden teaching, I speak the verses to take refuge in the Triple Gem, as this is in accord with the Buddha's mind. The Buddha in the 10 directions equivalent to the Ganges sands. Illumine on me, know my mind with their 6 penetrations. Now by relying on the teachings of the 2 honored ones, I open up the Pure Land door expansively. May the merits and virtues be shared with all living beings equally. May we bring forth the Bodhi mind and attain a rebirth in the land of serenity bliss. In this Contemplation Sutra, firstly, it is divided into 7 subsections for discussion, and the content will be explained later. 1. The preface. 2. An explanation of the title. 3. An explanation on the sutra text, the clarification of the aim of this teaching, and the classification of the teaching as the big or small vehicle. 4. Revealing the different types of teacher in Dharma teaching. 5. The 2 wholesomeness of concentration and mixed practices to show the differences in general or specific teachings, other time. 6. Harmonizing the contradiction in Sutra and Shastra by giving examples and questions and answers to clear doubts. 7. Vaidehi listened to the proper teaching of the Buddha and was benefited. Firstly, we will have an introduction on this teaching. The genuine thus is great and expansive. Even the 5 vehicles cannot fathom its expansiveness. The Dharma nature is profoundly lofty. Even the 10 stages cannot reach its limit. The body and capacity of the genuine thus is not outside this wavy mind. The Dharma nature is limitless. The expanse of the Dharma nature in reality is unmoving. In the Dharma realm of no dust, the sages and mundane men are equal in perfection. The tainted thusness and the untainted thusness exist pervasively in all living beings with consciousness. The merits and virtues of thusness, equivalent to the Ganges sand, is dwelling in stillness, yet its function can be seen clearly. As we mundane men are heavy in filth and hindrances, the mind is covered in ignorance, and the pure body has no means to reveal itself. So the Buddha of great compassion leaves the West. In the transformation body, he enters the fiery house anxiously, sprinkling the sweet dews to moisturize all sentient beings so their good roots will sprout. With the bright torch of wisdom, the world is illumined. The heavy delusion and the long nights of ignorance is cleared. The teaching of the 3 dana, the 4 gathering, in are also included. He propounds the causes of sufferings in the long kalpas so that they will awaken to the blissful fruit of longevity. The delusions of the sentient beings with their different nature and various desires are not considered. Even though the potential is not of the one genuine thus, they do have the functions of the 5 vehicles. That is why the Buddha spreads the clouds of kindness in the triple realm and rained down the Dharma rain of great compassion. It washes away the dust of afflictions of living beings equally. Those who have not heard of the Dharma will be moisturized and benefited pervasively. As such, the seed of Bodhi will sprout from the mind. The seedlings of proper enlightenment will flourish in every mindfulness. The supreme conduct comes forth from the mind. There are approximately 84,000 Dharma doors, and everyone can be practiced in accord with his root nature. May he be practicing the gradual door or the instant door in accord with individual potential. Everyone will obtain liberation. But the hindrances of living beings are heavy. Those who wish for an awakening find it very difficult to attain the state of clarity. Even though the many Dharma doors are beneficial, a mundane man with heavy delusion finds it difficult to penetrate the teaching pervasively. On encountering the conditions, Vaidehi told the Buddha she wished to attain a rebirth in the land of serenity bliss at that time. She sought the thus come one to teach her how to visualize how to dwell in right concentration. As she sought the teacher of the Saha world to teach her the ways of practice, the Buddha opened up the important door of Pure Land extensively. The abled one of the land of serenity bliss is able to reveal the other meanings of the magnificent vows. The important doors refer to the door of concentration and the door of mixed practices. Concentration means the mind is one-pointed and full from thoughts. Mixed practices refer to abstention of evils to cultivate wholesomeness. With the transference of merits of these two practices, we can seek for a rebirth. Talking about the magnificent vows, it is thus stated in the Sutra of Measurable Lifespan. All the good and evil mundane men who attain a rebirth rely solely on the karmic strength of Omitofo Buddha's great vows as an enhanced condition. Moreover, the Buddha's mind is profoundly deep and magnificent, and his doors of teaching are difficult to fathom. Even the three worthies, the 10 sages, are unable to understand or predict them. What is more for us who resemble the light feathers, who are yet to accomplish the total faith, dare to fathom the Buddha's aim and goal in this teaching. Our practice relies solely on the exhortation of Sakyamuni Buddha, who dwells in the Saha world, and Amitabha Buddha, who comes forth to welcome us from that land. How can we not go to the Pure Land when one Buddha has exhorted us to go, and another Buddha has come forth personally to welcome us? We can only act in accord with the Dharma diligently throughout this lifespan. After that, we will renounce this defiled body and certify to the permanent bliss of the Dharma nature. This is the end of a brief discussion on preface. Next, the title will be explained. According to the title, it is The Buddha Speaks the Sutra on the Contemplation of Immeasurable Lifespan in One Roll. The word Buddha is the proper pronunciation in accord with the Western country. In our country, it is known as the Enlightened One. When a man fully attains self-enlightenment and possesses the ability to enlighten others, ultimately he is known as a Buddha. When we say self-enlightenment, it means this man is different from a mundane man. They are the sound hearer Shravaka, who are lowly and narrow-minded, as they can only benefit themselves. They do not possess the great compassion to benefit others. When we say a man can enlighten others, he is different from the two vehicles. This is because a bodhisattva is replete with wisdom, so he can benefit himself. As he is compassionate, he can benefit others. He can often conduct himself with compassion and wisdom, as he is not attached to existence or non-existence. A man who is perfectly replete with enlightenment and the beneficial conduct is different from a bodhisattva. This is because the thus come one is replete with total wisdom and perfect conduct, perfecting his cultivation fully throughout the many kalpas. He far surpasses the three positions, so he is known as the Buddha. The word speaks refers to the utterance with the mouth. Moreover, the thus come one speaks a variety of dharma in accord with the individual potential. Some are gradual teaching, others are instant teaching. Some are secret teaching, while others are open teaching. There are such differences, or sometimes the six faculties are able to expound the teachings. This is the same too for the exposition with his adorned features. All the teaching comes forth in the arising of a thought in accord with conditions, and the listeners will all be benefited. When we say immeasurable lifespan, it is the Chinese pronunciation. When we say Namo Amitabha Buddha, it is the correct pronunciation of the Western country. Besides, Na means taking refuge, Mo means life, A means not, Mi means measurable capacity, Tuo means lifespan, Buddha is the enlightened one. So we say taking refuge in the enlightened one of the immeasurable lifespan. This is an explanation with a comparison of the Sanskrit and Chinese language. Now when we say immeasurable lifespan, it is the Dharma. The enlightened one is a man. The man and Dharma come together is known as Amitabha Buddha. Moreover, the man and Dharma come together is the state we contemplate, which can further be divided into two, one dependent reward, two proper reward. From the dependent reward, there are three categories. 1. The undergrad adornment. This refers to the inner shining of the bright jeweled Vajra and others. 2. The adornment on the ground. This refers to the jeweled ground, ponds, forests, jeweled towers, palaces, pavilions, and such like. 3. The adornment in the space. This refers to all the transformation of jeweled palaces, flowers, nettings, jeweled cloud, transformation birds, wind, movement of lights, which produce sounds and music and such like. As we have mentioned the 3 types of differences, we should know these are the supreme appearances of Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. They are the genuine thus with no leakage. This is the conclusive discussion on the adornment of the dependent reward. Besides, when we talk about the dependent reward, it encompasses the contemplation of the sun unto the contemplation of the flower seed. Based on this dependent reward, there are the following 2 categories. 1, general. 2, specific. The flowery seed is the specific dependent reward as it belongs to Amitabha Buddha only. The other 6 contemplations are the general dependent reward. They belong to the sages and mundane men in the Dharma realm. They are called general because everyone who is born there are able to use the facilities. Moreover, among the 6 contemplations, there are the real and fake ones. The visualization of the sun, the water, and ice are the fake dependent. These are the states of appearance that we can see as they resemble the form appearance in this worldly realm. When we say the real reward, they refer to the contemplation of the lapis lazuli ground until the contemplation of the jeweled towers. As such, these are the states of appearance which can be seen in that land. They come forth from the genuine thus with no leakage. Secondly, there are 2 types of proper reward. 1, the adornment of the master, which refers to Amitabha Buddha. 2, the adornment of the sagely assemblies, which refer to the multitude of assemblies who are dwelling there and all the living beings from the 10 directions of the Dharma realm who are born there. Again, in this proper reward, they are subdivided into general and specific. The specific reward refers to Amitabha Buddha. In this specific reward, there are also the real and the fake rewards. The fake proper reward refers to the 8th contemplation of the image. This is the same for the contemplation of Avalokiteshvara and Mahastama Prapta too. This is because the hindrances, the defilements, and delusion of living beings are heavy. The Buddha is worried about our inability to see the genuine countenance, so we are told to bring forth the mind to think about the genuine Buddha image. By doing so, we will be able to certify to the state just the same as the Buddha. This is called the fake proper reward. The real proper reward refers to the 9th contemplation of the genuine body. The contemplation of the fake proper reward body will gradually calm down our confused mind, and the mind eyes will open up. We will be able to see the 2 types of pure rewards and all kinds of adornments in that land. This helps to eradicate torpor and confusion. As the hindrances are eradicated, the genuine states will come forth. The general proper rewards refer to Avalokiteshvara, all the sagely assemblies, and others. The discussion on the general and specific, real and fake rewards clarifies the 2 types of rewards, the dependent and the proper rewards. Contemplation means illumination. With a mind of pure faith, it resembles a hand which is able to hold the light of wisdom to illumine the proper and dependent matters in Amitabha Buddha land. Sutra. Sutra carries the meaning of longitude. With longitude, there is the latitude. With these, we can have a measurement of the capacity. So a sutra upholds the dharma of namana, and phenomena of the manifestations are in response to principles. The practice of concentration and mixed practices are in accord with the individual potential, so the meanings are clearly stated and not dispersed. In this way, those who cultivate the path can rely on the causes and conditions of his practice in accord with the teaching to attain a rebirth, relying on the vows. Finally, they will be certified to the dharma bliss of namana. On the attainment of a rebirth in that land, they will be fearless, they can cultivate continually, and arrive at the ultimate fruition of bodhi. They will certify to the permanent dwelling of the dharma body, which resembles the empty space. As there are such benefits, so it is called the sutra. Talking about one role of sutra, it refers to the Contemplation Sutra, which comprises of 2 sections of the proper teaching. Generally speaking, it is one in body, so we say one role. So the one role of sutra is the Buddha speaks the sutra on the contemplation of immeasurable lifespan. This is the end on the explanation of the name and meanings. Thirdly, we will classify and explain the aim of this teaching, whether it belongs to the Mahayana or Theravada. For example, the Vimalakirti Sutra is expounded based on the inconceivable liberation as its aim. The purpose for the teaching of the great Prajna Sutra, Panka Vim Sati Sahasrika Prajna Paramita, proclaims the wisdom of emptiness. There are many more such examples. Now, this Contemplation Sutra aims at teaching the samadhi of contemplating the Buddha. It is also taught with the aim in cultivating Buddha recitation samadhi, and the whole purpose is for the cultivators to transfer the merits of the exclusive recitation to attain a rebirth in the Pure Land. Next, we'll discuss the sect of this teaching, whether it belongs to the great or small vehicle. Question: which store does it belong to among the two stores? Which teaching does it belong to in the two teachings? Answer: the Contemplation Sutra belongs to the Bodhisattva store. It propounds the instant teaching. Fourthly, we will discuss the different types of teachers in Dharma teaching. All the sutras are spoken by 5 types of people. 1. The Buddha. 2. The sagely disciples. 3. The celestial beings. 4. The ghosts and spirits. 5. Transformation beings. Now, the Contemplation Sutra is spoken by the Buddha. Question: where did the Buddha speak the sutra? To whom did he speak the sutra? Answer: the Buddha was at the palace and spoke the sutra for Vaidehi and retinues. Fifthly, the 2 doors of concentration and mixed practices comprise the following 6 points. 1. Clarifying the one who brings forth the question is Vaidehi. Clarifying the teacher whom she refers to is the world-honored one. 3. Clarifying the speaker is the thus come one. 4. Clarifying the talk is on the 2 wholesomeness of concentration and mixed practices, and also the doors of 16 contemplations. 5. Clarifying the one who propounds is the thus come one. 6. Clarifying the ones who will practice are Vaidehi and retinues. Question: who invited the Buddha to teach the 2 wholesomeness of concentration and mixed practices? Answer: Vaidehi asked about the door of concentration. The Buddha had spoken the door of mixed practices by himself. Question: I'm not sure from where the passages on the teaching of concentration and mixed practices come from. Now, since the sutra teaching is genuine, I would like to know, who are the people with potential to accept them? Answer: here are the 2 explanations. 1. Those who cannot believe in this are people who have slandered the Dharma, who have no faith, who dwells in the 8 difficulties, who are non-humans. These are rotted wood in the forest that can no longer grow, the hard rock which cannot be moisturized. This kind of living beings does not possess the potential to receive the teaching. Other than these are the people who single-mindedly have faith in the teaching, who are joyful to see a rebirth. They will practice Amitabha recitation throughout their life, or even the practice of 10 recitations. All of them will attain a rebirth relying on the strength of the Buddha's vows. This is the end of the discussion on what type of potential will accept the teaching. Talking about general, it carries the 3 meanings. What are they? 1. From the moment Vaidehi sought the Buddha to tell her pervasively the lands which are free from sadness and afflictions, it is Vaidehi's wish in a general request to achieve what she desires. 2. From the request, may the Buddha teach me to contemplate the pure karmic dwelling. This is Vaidehi's general request to practice the path on our own. 3. From the moment the world-honored one manifested the lands on the bright platform, this is the general answer to the request to speak pervasively. Even though there are 3 points, but the meanings are different. This is the end on the discussion of the word general. There are 2 meanings in the word specific. 1. From the time Vaidehi told the Buddha, she then desired to be born in the world of ultimate bliss. The dwelling of Amitabha Buddha shows that this is the specific choice she had made by herself. 2. From the time Vaidehi sought the Buddha to teach her how to visualize and how to enter right concentration, is her specific request on cultivation. The 2 requests carry different meaning. This is the end of the answer to the specific question. 5. From here onwards are the answers on the 2 doors: concentration and mixed practices. Question: what is meant by the wholesomeness of concentration, and what is meant by the wholesomeness of mixed practices? Answer: from the contemplation on the sun until the 13th contemplation are known as the wholesomeness of concentration. The 3 blessings and 9 grades of lotuses are known as the wholesomeness of mixed practices. Question: what are the differences in the wholesomeness of concentration? From where does the passage come? Answer: where is the passage? According to the sutra, it is thus stated: may the world-honored one teach me how to visualize, how to dwell in right concentration. This is the passage. Talking about differences, they refer to the 2 meanings as follows. 1. Visualization. 2. Right concentration. When we say visualizing, it refers to the expedience before one starts to contemplate. It is the visualization on the general and specific appearances of the proper reward and dependent reward in that land, as it is said in the passage on the ground contemplation. When a man visualizes in this way, it means he is seeing the land of ultimate bliss coarsely. This is in accord with the meaning of the sutra, teach me how to visualize. Talking about right concentration, the thinking mind is put to rest. The external conditions and internal thoughts do not arise. The man will dwell in samadhi, and in this response it is known as the right concentration. This is thus stated in the Sutra on the Contemplation of the Ground. If you attain samadhi, you will clearly see the ground of that land. This is in accord with the above teaching. How to dwell in right concentration. Concentration and mixed practices are two methods carrying different meanings. This is the end on the general answering of the above question. Moreover, the explanations which I have propounded are different from other masters. The other masters explain visualization using the 3 blessings and 9 grades as the mixed wholesomeness. They explain right concentration using the 16 contemplations. That is the wholesomeness of concentration. This type of explanation is improper. Why is this so? It is thus stated in the Flower Dormant Sutra. Visualization and right concentration are the different names of samadhi. This explanation is the same as the sutra text on the Contemplation of the Ground. Taking this as the evidence, how can we take the general mixed wholesomeness to explain visualization? Moreover, Vaidehi is requesting the Buddha to teach her to contemplate on the dwelling of pure karma. After that, she requests the Buddha to teach her visualization and right concentration. Though these are 2 requests, but it means the same thing. That is the wholesomeness of concentration. Moreover, in the sutra, there is no request to talk about the wholesomeness of mixed practices. The Buddha talked about them by himself. Below in the conditions on the wholesomeness of mixed practices, it is thus said in the passage, this will enable all the future mundane men. In this way, all the mundane men in the future world who desire to cultivate the pure karma will attain a rebirth in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. 6. Harmonizing the contradiction in Sutra and Shastra by giving examples and questions and answers to clear the doubts. In this door, it is subdivided into 6 sections. First, a study of the explanation by their masters on the 9 grades. Second, reasons are given to overturn the theory. Third, the 9 grades are listed again to point out the mistakes. Fourth, giving the evidences and passages to show this teaching is meant for the mundane men, not the sages. Fifth, an explanation on the meanings of other time. Sixth, an explanation on the meaning why the 2 vehicles are not born. Here is the explanation given by their masters. Firstly, they have listed out the 3 types of people in the superior grade. They say that the top position of the superior grade are bodhisattvas on the 4th and 7th ground. How do they know this? It is because on their arrival they will be certified to the patience of no birth. The middle position of the superior grade are bodhisattvas on the 1st until the 4th ground. How do they know this? This is because on their arrival they will attain the patience of no birth in one small kalpa. The bottom position of the superior grade are bodhisattvas who are replete with seed nature until the 1st ground. How do they know this? It is because on their arrival they will attain the 1st ground into 3 small kalpas. In these 3 positions, all of them are the great vehicle sages. Next, they've listed out the 3 types of people in the medium grade. These masters say the top position of the medium grade are those who have certified to the 3rd fruition. How do they know this? It is because they are certified to Arahant on their arrival. The middle position of the medium grade are the mundane cultivators. How do they know this? It is because on their arrival they are certified to Sotapanna. The bottom position of the medium grade are the good mundane men who despise the sufferings to seek a rebirth. How do they know this? It is because on their arrival they will be certified to Arahant after 1 small kalpa. The 3 positions are the small vehicle sages. The 3 positions of the inferior grade are the great vehicle mundane men who have just started learning the Dharma. They are thus divided in accord with the heaviness of their offenses. It could not be the case that they stay on the same position to seek a rebirth. We should thus know. Next, we will give reasons to show that the teachings of the masters are incorrect. We have just talked about the bodhisattvas from the 1st ground to the 7th ground. According to the Flower Dormant Sutra, the bodhisattvas on the 1st ground to the 7th ground are replete with the body of Dharma nature, a body of change and variance. They do not have to undergo the sufferings in the sectional births and deaths. If we see their merits and functions, they should have cultivated for 2 great asamkhya kalpas. They have cultivated both the blessings and wisdom and are certified to the emptiness of self and dharma. They are the inconceivable ones who are replete with the ease in spiritual penetration, who are able to transform in all directions. They stay in the reward land and listen to the Dharma, teaching of the reward Buddha constantly. With great compassion, they are able to transform living beings pervasively in the 10 directions in an instant. So what is the need for them to rely on Vaidehi to request the Buddha to seek a rebirth in the land of serenity bliss? With the evidence from the sutra, it is not correct to say the explanations given by these masters are wrong. This is the end on answering the top two positions. Those who are born in the bottom position of the superior grade, the masters say they are among those who have the seed nature until the first ground. This is not the case. According to the sutra, this type of bodhisattva is known as non-retreating ones. They dwell in births and deaths, yet they are not defiled by births and deaths. They are like the goose and ducks, which enter the water but not getting wet. Just as it is stated in the Mahaprajna Sutra, the bodhisattvas in this position dwell in non-retrogression because they are taken care of and protected by the two kinds of genuine good knowing advisors. Who are they? 1. The Buddha in the 10 directions. 2. The bodhisattvas Mahasattva in the 10 directions. They often bestow upon them the wholesome dharma of the 3 karmas so that they will not retreat. So this is known as the position of non-retreating. This type of bodhisattva can also reveal the 8 marks in the accomplishment of the path to teach and transform living beings. If we are to discuss their merits and conduct, they would have undergone 1 great asamkhya kalpas of cultivation. They would have cultivated both the blessings, wisdom, and others. With such supreme virtues, what is the need for them to rely on Vaidehi to request the attainment of a rebirth? With the evidence from the sutra, we know the judgment of the masters are wrong. This is the end on the disapproval of the judgment given by other masters on the superior grade. Next is the rebuke on the 3 positions of the medium grade. Other masters say that the top and middle positions are the 3rd fruition. But these people are forever severed from the 3 states of woes and will not be born in the 4 destinies. Even though presently they are committing evil karma, there will be no retribution awaiting them, just as the Buddha has said. The cultivators of the 4th fruition are the same like me, sitting on the seat of liberation. With their strength and merits, what is the need for them to rely on Vaidehi to seek the path of liberation? But all the Buddha of great compassion take pity on the suffering beings who are sunken in the seas of birth and death. That is why they exhort us to return to the Pure Land. It is the same as a drowning man whom should quickly be saved. It is not so urgent to relieve those who are standing on the shore. So with the above evidence, we know that the judgment of the other masters is incorrect. Just as we have mentioned earlier, it is the same for the lower positions. Thirdly, we give examples on the 9 grades to compare and reprimand. The other masters say the man on the top position of the superior grade is a bodhisattva who dwells on the 4th to 7th ground. Then why, in the Contemplation Sutra, it is thus stated, 3 types of living beings will attain a rebirth. Who are the 3 types of living beings? 1. Those who uphold the precepts and cultivate kindness. 2. Those who cannot abide by the precepts nor cultivate kindness, but they are able to read and recite the Great Vehicle Sutras. 3. Those who cannot abide by the precepts, cannot read nor recite the sutras. They can only be mindful of the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha, and others. These 3 kinds of people cultivate in accord with their potential diligently and single-mindedly for 1 day and 1 night, or even 7 days and 7 nights continually. With the karma they've cultivated, they seek and vow to attain a rebirth. At their deathbed, Omitofo Buddha, together with the great assembly of transformation Buddha and Bodhisattvas, will emit light and stretch out their hands. In an instant of flicking the fingers, they are instantly born in that land. With this sutra text as evidence, it shows that after the Buddha's entrance into nirvana, the most wholesome mundane men of the superior grade in the great vehicle cultivate diligently only for a few days. How can we judge them in the same category as the superior sages? Those in the 4th to 7th stages are bodhisattvas with inconceivable merits and abilities. How can they still be relying on the practice of wholesomeness for 1 to 7 days for the Buddha to come forth to welcome them to attain a rebirth? This is the end of the reprimand for the top position on the superior grade. Next, we look at the medium position of the superior grade. The other masters say they are the bodhisattvas who have certified to the 1st and the 4th ground. And why is it in the Contemplation Sutra, it is thus stated that the practitioners may or may not uphold the great vehicle? What is meant by may not? It means that they might have read or not been reading the sutra. Here it is mentioned that they may be good in understanding the sutra, but may not be practicing it. Moreover, it is stated they believe deeply in causes and effect, and do not slander the great vehicle. With these good roots, they transfer the merits to seek a rebirth. At the end of their lifespan, Omitofo Buddha and the great assembly of transformation Buddha and Bodhisattvas will extend their hands together to welcome them. They will be born in that land. With this sutra text evidence, it shows that the karmic practice of the great vehicle mundane men is slightly weaker after the departure of the Buddha. As such, there is a difference in welcoming them. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, the bodhisattvas in the first to fourth grounds have already attained the inconceivable merits and functions. So what is the need for them to rely on Vaidehi to request for a rebirth in the Pure Land? This is the end of the reprimand on the attainment in the medium position of the superior grade. Next, we will discuss the bottom position of the superior grade. The other masters say they are referred to the bodhisattvas with the seed nature, even those at the first ground. Why does the Contemplation Sutra mention they also have faith in the causes and effect? What is meant by also have faith? It means that they might have faith or without faith. So the word also is used. It also states that the practitioner will not slander the great vehicle. He will bring forth the unsurpassed Bodhi mind with this one sentence as the proper karma. He does not mention other good deeds. He seeks a rebirth with this one practice. At the deathbed, Amitabha Buddha, together with the assembly of transformation Buddha and Bodhisattvas, will extend their hands together to welcome him to attain a rebirth. With the evidence of this passage, these are the living beings with the great vehicle mind after the Buddha has entered nirvana. Their karmic practice is not strong. That is why there is a difference in the way of welcoming. If we are to discuss the strength of the bodhisattvas, they can attain a rebirth in any pure land in the 10 directions as they desire. It is unnecessary for them to rely on Vaidehi to request to the Buddha and to exhort them to attain a rebirth in the Western land of ultimate bliss. This is the end of the reprimand on the birth in the bottom position of the superior grade. In these 3 positions, there are differences before their departure to attain a rebirth. What are the differences? Those in the top position of the superior grade see the Buddha and innumerable transformation Buddhas extend their hands at the same time to welcome them. Those who dwell in the middle position of the superior grade see the Buddha and 1,000 transformation Buddha extend their hand together to welcome them. Those who dwell in the bottom position of the superior grade see the Buddha and 500 transformation Buddha extend their hand together to welcome them. As the karmic strength may either be strong or weak, that there are such differences. Next, we will comment on the 3 types of people in the medium grade. The other masters say those in the top position of the medium grade are the third First sages of the small vehicle, and why it is stated in the Contemplation Sutra that if living beings uphold the 5 precepts and 8 precepts to cultivate all kinds of precepts without committing the 5 rebellious acts, nor committing any faults at their deathbed, Amitabha Buddha, together with the sage of the assembly of bhikshus, emit the light and come before them to speak the Dharma. After seeing this, such a man will instantly attain a rebirth. With this passage as evidence, it means they are the mundane men who uphold the small vehicle precepts after the departure of the Buddha. They are not the small sages. Those who are born in the middle position of the medium grade, the other masters say they are the mundane cultivators who are yet to see the path. And why in the Contemplation Sutra it is thus stated: people who uphold the precepts for one day and one night, and with these merits they transfer to attain a rebirth at their deathbed. They see the Buddha and instantly they will attain a rebirth. With this passage as evidence, how can we say they are the mundane cultivators? After the Buddha's departure from the world, mundane men with no good deeds are able to encounter the small affinity to receive the small precepts and uphold the precepts for a day and night. With this, they transfer the merits to attain a rebirth. By relying on the Buddha's strength of vows, they will attain a rebirth. If we say they are the small sages, they can also attain a rebirth. But this Contemplation Sutra is spoken by the Buddha, aiming to save the mundane men especially, not the sages. Talking about the lower position in the medium grade, the other masters say they are the cultivators of the small vehicle, who are formerly the worldly mundane men, cultivating worldly blessings to seek renunciation. And why in the Contemplation Sutra it is thus stated: if there are living beings who are filial to their parents, who take good care of them, who cultivate the worldly humaneness and kindness at their deathbed, they encounter the good knowing advisors who speak for them in the blissful manner in that Buddha land, the 48 vows and others. On hearing this, such a man is born in that land. With this passage as evidence, they are the ones who have not encountered the Buddha Dharma. Even though they are filial and take care of their parents, they do not bring forth the mind to renounce the world. It is only at the deathbed that they encounter a good knowing advisor who exhorts them to attain a rebirth. Because of this exhortation, this man brings forth the mind to seek a rebirth, and he is born in that land. Moreover, this man has practiced filial piety in the world, but he does not practice it for the sake of renunciation. Next, we will talk about the three types of people in the inferior grade. The other masters say they are the mundane men who have just started to learn the great vehicle Dharma. They are divided into three positions in accord with the seriousness of their offenses. They have not attained any position in their practice. It is difficult to differentiate their position, but this is not the case. Why do I say so? These three types of people do not learn the Buddha, do not learn the Dharma, neither do they possess the two types of worldly good roots. They only commit evils. How do we know this? Just as it is stated in the top position of the inferior grade, these people do not commit the 5 rebellious acts, do not slander the Dharma, but they are filled with other evils, and they do not even give rise to one thought of regrets or repentance. At their deathbed, they encounter a good knowing advisor who speaks for them the great vehicle Dharma. They are taught to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha once. At that time, Amitabha Buddha immediately sends the transformation Buddha and Bodhisattvas to welcome this man, and he will attain a rebirth. This type of evil man can be found everywhere. If they encounter good affinities, they will attain a rebirth. If they do not encounter the good affinity, they will surely fall into the 3 evil states of wars. It is impossible to leave. Those who are born in the middle position of the inferior grade have already received the Buddha precepts. After receiving the precepts, they transgress the precepts and lose the adornment of precepts. Because they often steal the things from the permanent dwelling of the Sangha, stealing the things of the present Sangha, they teach the Dharma impurely, and they do not give rise to even one single thought of remorse. At the deathbed, the ferocious fire from the hell burnt forth before him instantly. On seeing the fire, he encounters a good knowing advisor who speaks for him the merits and virtues of the Buddha and his land. After listening to this, he sees the Buddha immediately and follow the transformation Buddha to attain a rebirth. At the beginning, he has not encountered the good knowing advisor. The hellish fire appears to welcome him. Later, he encounters the good knowing advisor, and so the transformation Buddha comes forth to welcome him. All these happenings rely totally on the strength of Amitabha Buddha's vows. Those who dwell in the lowest position of the inferior grade are living beings who have committed the unwholesome karma, the 5 rebellious acts, the 10 evils, and all kinds of bad deeds. Because of the evil karma, such man will surely fall into the hell for many unending kalpas. At his deathbed, he encounters a good knowing advisor who teaches him to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha and encourages him to seek a rebirth. This man acts in accord with the teaching and recites the Buddha's name. He attains a rebirth in this recitation. If this man has not encountered the good knowing advisor, he will surely fall into the hell. Finally, at his deathbed, he encounters a good knowing advisor, and the lotus of 7 gems comes forth to welcome him. By studying the Contemplation Sutra, the wholesomeness of concentration, and the 3 grades of people with the corresponding 3 positions, we know they are the mundane men in the world of high turbidity after the departure of the Buddha. They are fortunate to encounter the different good affinities, and so there are the differences in the 9 grades of rebirth. What am I referring to? The 3 positions in the superior grade are the good mundane men. The 3 positions in the medium grade are the common mundane men. The 3 positions in the inferior grade are the evil mundane men. Because of the evil karma at their deathbed, they rely on the wholesome strength of the Buddha's vows to attain a rebirth. When the lotus blooms on their arrival at that land, they begin to bring forth the mind. How can we mistake them as the people who have started to learn the great vehicle? If we hold on to this view, we are making a mistake. This will bring on a harmful effect to self and others. Now I've listed out the sutra passages as evidence that the Buddha desires all the present good and evil mundane men to attain a rebirth. In the 9 positions, that they will have no doubt in faith and attain a rebirth by relying on the strength of the Buddha's vows. Fourthly, are passages listed out as evidence. Question: what do you base on to say the other masters are wrong, that the world honorers have thus spoken for the sake of the mundane men, not for the sages? I do not know if this judgment is in accord with your feeling, or is it based on the sagely teaching? Answer: living beings are heavy in filth with very shallow wisdom. The sagely meaning is profoundly deep, so how dare I give my opinion? Now I will list out what the Buddha has spoken as evidence, which are encompassed in the following 10 sentences. What are they? Firstly, as it is stated in the Contemplation Sutra, The Buddha told Videhi, I will now speak for you pervasively all kinds of analogies. In this way, all the mundane men in the future world who desire to cultivate the pure karma will attain a rebirth in the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. This is the first evidence. Secondly, it is thus stated, now that thus come one, will speak about the pure karma for the sake of all the future living beings who are harmed by the thieves of afflictions. This is the second evidence. Thirdly, it is thus stated, now that thus come one is teaching by Dehi and all the future living beings to contemplate the Western world of ultimate bliss. This is the third evidence. Fourthly, by Dehi said to the Buddha, presently I am able to see that land. Relying on the Buddha's strength, after the Buddha reveals the still extinction, the evil and defiled living beings are oppressed by the 5 sufferings. How are they going to see Omitofo, Buddha's world of ultimate bliss? This is the fourth evidence. Fifthly, in the contemplation of the sun, it is thus stated, the Buddha told Videhi, you and living beings should be mindful of the Western land exclusively, and so on until all living beings who are not born blind will be able to see the sun. This is the fifth evidence. Sixthly, in the contemplation of the ground, the Buddha told Ananda, you should uphold the Buddha's words and speak the Dharma on contemplating the ground for the multitude of living beings in the future world who desire to be liberated from sufferings. These are the sixth evidence. Seventhly, in the contemplation of the Buddha's seat, once ready, he said to the Buddha, by relying on the Buddha's strength, I am able to see the immeasurable lifespan Buddha and the 2 Bodhisattvas. In future, how can the living beings see the Buddha and Bodhisattva? This is the seventh evidence. Eighthly, the Buddha answered the request when he told Videhi, if you and living beings desire to see that Buddha, you should thus visualize him and mindful of him. This is the eighth evidence. Ninthly, in the contemplation of the image, it is thus stated. The Buddha told Videhi, the Buddha thus come one is the body of the Dharma realm and enters the mind of all living beings. That is why when you are thinking of the Buddha, your mind is the 32 marks and the 80 subtle adornments. This is the ninth evidence. Tenthly, in the 9 grades of rebirth, every word is spoken for the sake of living beings. This is the 10th evidence. The above examples are the 10 different descriptions as evidence to show that the thus come one has spoken the Dharma of 16 contemplations for the living beings who are sunken in the seas of births and deaths, not for the sake of the great or small sages. With these passages as evidence, how can you say it is a fake invention? Fifthly, an explanation of a rebirth at other times. There are 2 meanings. In the first discussion, it is thus said, if a man is mindful of the many jewels Buddha, he will not retreat from the unsurpassed Bodhi. The word Bodhi is the name for the attainment of Buddhahood, which is the proper reward. According to the general reasoning, the Dharma and the attainment of Buddhahood relies on the perfection of the myriad practices before it can be accomplished. How can it be accomplished just by the one practice of Buddha recitation? It is impossible. Even though one is yet to certify to it, Buddha recitation is one of the practices among the myriad practices. How do we know this? For example, in the Flower Adornment Sutra, the bhikshu by the name of the Clouds of Merits and Virtues told the youth good wealth. Among the seas of Samadhi in the Buddha Dharma, I only know this one practice, namely the Samadhi of Buddha recitation. With this passage as evidence, is not this one of the practices? Even though it is one of the practices, it enables us to advance from births and deaths to the accomplishment of Buddhahood without retrogression. So this is known as non-retreating. Question. In that case, it is stated in the Dharma Flower Sutra that one should have accomplished Buddha path. Once we have recited Namo Buddha, we would have accomplished Buddha. What is the difference in these 2 passages? Answer. In the commentary, the recitation of the Buddha is aimed at accomplishing the fruits of Buddhahood by his own effort. In the sutra, the recitation of the Buddha is to differentiate the practitioner from the 95 kinds of deviant paths, because none of them call upon the Buddha. So once a man recites the name of the Buddha even only one time, he belongs to the Buddha path. So it is said he will ultimately arrive at Buddhahood. Secondly, in the treatise, it is thus said, it is said a man will attain a rebirth in the land of serenity bliss by bringing forth the vows. All these whilst most commenters do not understand the meaning of this discussion. They mistakenly give examples on the 10 recitations in the lowest position of the inferior grade, saying they are the same. They say these people are not born immediately by giving the example of accumulating 1 cent to become 1,000 cents. It means after a long time, only we can have that amount. It is impossible to get that amount in one day. This is the same for the 10 recitations. It means such a man will have planted the cause to attain a rebirth in the future. It means he cannot be born instantly. This is the expedient of the Buddha for the future mundane men, so that they will renounce the evils and call upon the Buddha, saying that they will be born, but in actuality they are not born. This is the meaning of a rebirth in other time. Then why in Amitabha Sutra it is thus stated? The Buddha told Shariputra, a good man or a good woman who have heard of Amitabha Buddha should uphold his name wholeheartedly. He should bring forth the mind to seek a rebirth by reciting the name of the Buddha for 1 day or even 7 days. At the deathbed, Amitabha Buddha, together with the sagely assembly, will come forth to welcome him. After that, it is followed by the certification of the Buddha in the 10 directions, as many as the Ganges sands who extend their broad and long tongue to cover the 3,000 great thousand worlds pervasively, and they speak honestly. All of you living beings should have faith in this sutra, which is being protected and mindful of by all the Buddha. The meaning of being mindful of and the bestowment of protection refers to the above passage on the recitation of the Buddha's name for 1 day or even 7 days. So this is the clear evidence from the sagely teaching. I do not know why the cultivators these days believe in the comments of the mundane men in the small vehicle, and they deny the honest words of the Buddha, saying those are the false words. It is truly an acute suffering to hear people saying such terrible comments. Still, I hope the good knowing advisors who wish to attain a rebirth should ponder over this carefully. It is better to believe in the Buddha's words in this life and face all kinds of critics than to attach to the comments of the Bodhisattva and take them as a guide in practice. We are still attached and allowing this as the guidelines. We are harming ourselves and misleading others. Question: why do people practice the Buddha recitation, yet they are unable to attain a rebirth? Answer: a man who desires to attain a rebirth must be replete with vows and practice, then he will be able to attain a rebirth. Now in this treatise it mentions the bringing forth of vows only without talking about the practice. Question: why is it not discussed? Answer: if you cannot even bring forth a single sincere mindfulness, it will not be discussed. Question: what is the difference in meaning on vows and practice? Answer: just as it is discussed in the sutra, if a man only practices the Dharma without bringing forth the vows, with the practice he will not arrive anywhere. On the contrary, if a man only brings forth the vows without practice, these are empty vows, so he will not arrive anywhere. If the vows and practices are brought forth, whatever he wishes to accomplish will be accomplished. So in this treatise it talks about bringing forth the vows without talking about the cultivation. That is why such a man will not attain a rebirth, but he is planning a cause for a future rebirth. This is the true meaning. Question: he has brought forth the vows, why do you say he is still not born? Answer: on hearing the bliss and inconceivability of the Western land, he brings forth the mind and says he also desires to attain a rebirth. After saying this, he does not continue in the practice, so it is known as the vows only. Now in the Contemplation Sutra, the recitation of the Buddha 10 times is fully replete with the 10,000 breaths. What is meant by fully replete? It is because Namo means taking refuge in the Buddha. It also carries the meaning of bringing forth the vows and the transference of merits. Amitabha Buddha is the practice. For these meanings, a man who recites Namo Amitabha Buddha will surely attain a rebirth. Moreover, in the treatise, it is said reciting the many jewels Buddha to seek the fruit of Buddhahood is the proper reward. Those who bring forth the vows to seek a rebirth in the Pure Land is the dependent reward. When one is proper while the other is dependent, how can they be the same? But it is not easy to achieve the proper reward. This is because one has not accomplished the practice, not certified to the practice. The dependent reward is easier to seek. The mind of one vow has not been achieved. Even so, let us take the analogy of those who come to surrender themselves as easy. Those who wish to be the chief will be difficult. Presently, those who wish to attain a rebirth are all the living beings who surrender themselves to the Buddha. So, is not this an easy practice? As long as a man can recite Namo Amitabha the whole life for just 10 times, he will be sure of a rebirth relying on the strength of the Buddha's vows. That is why we say it is easy. So we cannot use our words to explain the meanings, as people who have faith might still give rise to doubts. It is necessary to show the evidence from the sagely teaching, so that those who have heard the teaching will have their delusion cleared. 6. Explanation on the meanings that the two vehicles, seed nature, will not be born. Harmonizing the contradiction in sutra and treatise by giving examples and questions and answers to clear doubts. Question: is Amitabha Buddha Pure Land a land of reward or a land of transformation? Answer: It is a reward land, not a transformation land. How do we know this? As it is stated in the Great Vehicle Sutra of the same nature, Amitabha Buddha's land of serenity bliss in the West is a reward land of a reward Buddha. Moreover, in the Sutra of Immeasurable Lifespan, when Dharmakara Bhikshu was cultivating the Bodhisattva path before the dwelling of Buddha Lokasvara Raja, he brought forth the 48 vows. In every vow he says, on my attainment of Buddhahood, living beings in the 10 directions will recite my name and desire to be born in my land, even if they can only recite 10 times. Yet they are unable to attain a rebirth and will not accomplish the proper enlightenment. Now that he has accomplished the Buddhahood, he reveals the body to realize his vows. Moreover, in the Contemplation Sutra, those who dwell in the 3 positions of the superior grade will see Amitabha Buddha and the Transformation Buddha come together to welcome him. The Reward Buddha and the Transformation Buddha extend their hands together to welcome him. So the word "and" is used. With this sentence as evidence, we know it is a reward land of the Reward Buddha. But the Reward Buddha and the Transformation Buddha are only different in name, just in the way we say eyes are seeing. The Reward Buddha can be transformed into Transformation Buddhas, while the Transformations Buddhas come together to be the Reward Buddha. When we say the reward, it means the practice in the causal ground is not fake, so there is the fruition. The fruit comes forth because of the causes, so it is known as the reward. Moreover, a man who cultivates the myriad practices for the 3 great asankeyas will surely obtain the Bodhi. Now that since he has accomplished the path, it is the transformation body. This is the way to differentiate the 3 bodies of the past and present Buddha. Other than these, there is no other body. Even though there are inexhaustible 8 marks, the names as many as the dust motes, but by referring to the body, they are the transformation bodies. Presently, Amitabha Buddha is the reward Buddha. Question. As we are talking about the reward body, it dwells permanently. It is forever without birth nor extinction. Then why, in the bestowment of Bodhi on Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Sutra, it is stated that even Amitabha Buddha will also enter Nirvana? What is meant by this? Please explain. Answer. Entering into Nirvana or not entering is the state of all the Buddha. Even the 3 vehicles with the shallow wisdom are able to penetrate what is more so for the small-minded mundane man. But if you wish to know, I will try to show the evidence in the Buddha Sutras. What is the evidence? For example, in the Mahaprajna Paramita Sutra, it is still stated in the chapter on Nirvana is not a transformation. The Buddha told Subhuti, what do you think? If there is a transformation man who can transform himself, is this transformation real? Is it empty? Subhuti said, no, world honored one. The Buddha told Subhuti, form is elusive. Feeling, thinking, intention, and consciousness are elusive. Even the Savartha wisdom is elusive. Subhuti said to the Buddha, world honored one, if the worldly dharma is elusive, the dharma of leaving the world is also elusive. How about the 4 dwellings of mindfulness, the 4 right diligence, the 4 fulfillment of wishes, the 5 roots, the 5 strength, 7 fractions of enlightenment, 8 sagely noble paths, the 3 doors of liberation, the Buddha's 10 strength, the 4 fearlessness, the 4 unobstructed wisdom, the 18 unshared dharma, and other dharma fruits, the worthies and sages, namely the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant, Pratyeka Buddha, Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, the Buddha, the world-honored one. Are they also the elusive Dharma? The Buddha told Subhuti, all the Dharma is elusive. In the Dharma there are the manifestation of Shravaka Dharma, the manifestation of Pratyeka Buddha Dharma, the manifestation of Bodhisattva Dharma, the manifestation of the Buddha Dharma, the manifestation of afflicted Dharma, the manifestation of the Dharma on karmic causes and conditions. Because of such causes and conditions, Subhuti, all the Dharma is elusive. Subhuti said to the Buddha, world-honored one, those who have severed the afflictions, namely the fruit of Sotapanna, the fruit of Sakadagami, the fruit of Anagami, the fruit of Arahant, the path of Pratyeka Buddha, who have severed all the habitual afflictions, are they also the elusive manifestation? The Buddha told Subhuti, if a Dharma possesses the marks of birth and extinction, it is a manifestation. Subhuti said, World Honored One, what kind of Dharma is not a manifestation? The Buddha said, if a Dharma is without birth and death, it is not a manifestation. Subhuti asked, what is it which is neither born nor become extinct, which is not a manifestation? The Buddha said, Nirvana, with the mark of no falsehood, is not a Dharma of manifestation. World Honored One, just as it is spoken by the Buddha, all the Dharma is equal. It is not done by Shravaka, not done by Pratyeka Buddha, not done by Bodhisattva Mahasattva, not done by all the Buddha. With the Buddha or without the Buddha, the Dharma nature is always empty. The nature of emptiness is nirvana. What is the reason that one Dharma of nirvana is not a manifestation? The Buddha told Subhuti, so it is, so it is. All of the Dharma is equal. It is not done by the Shravaka, and even the nature of emptiness is nirvana. If a Bodhisattva who has just brought forth the Bodhi mind, on hearing that all the Dharma is ultimately empty in nature, that nirvana is also elusive, he will be frightened. For the sake of the Bodhisattvas who have just brought forth the mind, I differentiate for them. The Dharma of birth and extinction is elusive, that the Dharma of no birth, no extinction, that the Dharma of no birth and no extinction is not elusive. Now that we've learned from this sagely teaching and we are sure that Amitabha Buddha is truly a reward Buddha, even if he enters nirvana later, there is no difference in meaning. All the wise ones should understand this. Question. Since it is said that the Buddha and the land are the reward Dharma is highly lofty and wonderful. It is difficult for the small sages to attain. How can the mundane men who are filthy, who with many obstacles manage to enter? Answer. If we look at the filth and obstacles of living beings, it is truly difficult to attain a rebirth. But the attainment of a rebirth solely relies on the Buddha's vows, which act as a strong condition, that this strength enables all the 5 vehicles to attain a rebirth. Question. If you say the mundane men in small vehicle are able to attain a rebirth, what is the reason in the Pure Land Shastra by Vasubandhu Bodhisattva stated that women, those with impaired roots, and the 2 vehicles are not born? Now that there are also the 2 vehicles in that land, how to relate them in the Sutra and Shastra? Answer. You only recite the passages without understanding in the principles. With ignorance and limited understanding, a deluded one will have no way to understand the teaching. Now I will give evidence from the Buddha's teaching to clear your doubts. What are they? They refer to the 3 positions in the inferior grade in the Contemplation Sutra. In the top position of the inferior grade are living beings who have committed lots of evil karma without any shame or regrets. When such a deluded man is about to pass away, he met with a good knowing advisor who speaks for him the great vehicle teaching, and he is taught to recite Namo Amitabha Buddha. When he recites the Buddha's name, the transformation Buddha and Bodhisattvas appear before him. He is received by the golden light, flowery canopies, and returned to that land. When the lotus blooms of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva speak for him the great vehicle teaching. On hearing the teaching, the man will bring forth the unsurpassed Bodhi mind. Question. What is the difference of seed nature and mind? Answer. It is thus said for the convenience sake. There is no difference in meaning. When the lotus blooms, this man is replete with a pure body, and it is a suitable time to listen to the Dharma. There is no need to differentiate if it is a big or small vehicle. As long as he hears the Dharma, faith will arise in him. That is why Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva does not speak for him the small vehicle teaching. Instead, he is taught the great vehicle. On hearing the great vehicle teaching, he is happy, and thus brings forth the unsurpassed mind on the path. This is known as the birth in the seed nature of the great vehicle. It is also known as bring forth of the great vehicle mind. When the lotus blooms, if Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva has spoken from the small vehicle first, and he brings forth the faith in the small vehicle on hearing the Dharma, he is known as the birth with the seed nature of the 2 vehicles. It is also known as the bring forth of a mind of the 2 vehicles. This is the way things are in this position. The 2 positions below are also the same. These 3 types of people all bring forth the mind in that land. As they have first listened to the great vehicle teaching, they are known as the birth with the seed nature of the great vehicle. As they have not heard of the small vehicle teaching, it is said, the 2 vehicles are not born there. As I have said, the seed nature is the mind. This is the end of the explanation of the meaning. The two vehicles are not born. We should know there are no women and people with impaired roots. Moreover, in the world in the 10 directions, the small vehicle practitioners who abide by the precepts and conduct desire to be born there will attain a rebirth without obstructions. On their arrival, they will first certify to the small fruits. After that, they will transfer the merits and enter the great vehicle. After entering the great vehicle, they will not retreat to the small vehicle. So this is known as the two vehicles are not born. The former is the explanation on the beginners of uncertain potential. The latter is the explanation on the end result of attaining small fruitions. We should thus know. The seventh part of primal teaching is when Vaidehi listened to the Buddha's proper teaching and obtained the benefits for herself and others. Question. It is mentioned that Vaidehi attained the patience. I do not know when did she attain the patience and from which passage did it reveal. Answer. Vaidehi attained the patience is from the beginning of the 7th contemplation. It is thus stated in the sutra. The Buddha told Vaidehi, I will now speak for you, explain and differentiate for you the Dharma to eradicate sufferings. After saying these words, the Buddha of immeasurable lifespan stood in the empty space with Avalokiteshvara and Mahastamaprapta attending to the Buddha on his left and right. On seeing this, Vaidehi bowed down in obeisance at the Buddha's feet. Joyfully she praised the Buddha and attained the Dharma, patience of no birth. How do we know this? Just as it is mentioned below in the section on benefiting, it is thus stated, on seeing the Buddha and the two Bodhisattvas, she was filled with joys. She was filled with joys. And exclaimed this had never happened before. She suddenly obtained great enlightenment and attained the patience of no birth. It is not during the time when she is looking at the lands on the lighted platform. Question. In the above passage it is said that on seeing the extremely wonderful and blissful matters she was most glad, and instantly she attained the Dharma patience of no birth. How to explain the meaning of this sentence? Answer. Here it means that the world-honored one is answering the former request, exhorting all living beings to attain the benefits. It is an expedient in the preface. How do we know? It is because after that, in the next passage, it is thus stated, all the Buddha thus come one possessed the extraordinary expedients to enable you to see. After that, he continued to talk about the visualization of the sun, the water, the ice, and even until the 13 contemplations. All these visualizations are known as the special expedients. The purpose is to enable living beings to accomplish every of these doors of contemplation. After seeing those wonderful matters, they are filled with bliss and thus obtain the patience of no birth. This is all because of the thus come one's kindness and pity on the living beings at the Dharma ending age, so as to exhort them to cultivate diligently. By doing so, it is hoped that those who have cultivated accumulatively are not left out by the sagely strength, the hidden bestowment, and obtain the present benefits. It is thus certified. To understand the individual potential